All right, so the embargo has lifted for Stellar Blade, and the scores are fantastic. I told y'all this game was going to be an absolute banger. I have been selling stock in Stellar Blade since it was announced as Project Eve. But I am happy as hell for Shift Up, man. For them to just pop out of thin air and just come out with a new IP that's hitting 90s and high 80s is immaculate. They definitely deserve their kudos, and even more so to Sony, because they helped Shift Up finish Stellar Blade by funding them money to get to the finish line, because they saw the promise in this game. So it's just a beautiful story all around. I'm happy as hell. Everybody deserves flowers for this. Hunter for Next Gen Player goes on to say, this game is a 9 out of 10. Certified banger with story and lore that rivals Nier Automata, which I find hard as fuck to believe. I can't wait to get into the story. But style on par with Bayonetta, combat as deep as Devil May Cry, which is no surprise. If you played the demo, there's like 5 or 6 skill trees. And there's a lot on those trees, so I already knew off rip that this game was going to have a deep bag gameplay-wise, so I definitely can't wait to get my hands on that. He goes on to say, it's the real deal. Sony and Shift Up have a hot new IP on their hands. Not surprised by any means, man. Y'all already know there's a lot of weirdos. This game, I'm so thankful for Stellar Blade, because it exposed a lot of weirdos in the gaming industry and just people as a whole. So Gaming Radar Plus says, Stellar Blade puts Eve in some incredibly stupid, sexy outfits that hurt the game story. So off that first sentence alone, I want y'all to look at the outfits here. These outfits are something you would see a regular woman wear. This looks like something a woman would wear on the beach, and these are 2 regular outfits that you will see women wear. Now, obviously, not every type of woman can pull this off. You have to have a certain figure to pull these outfits off. And not even, I see bigger women wear fucking bikini and shit like that. Like, come on, bro, let's get real, man. Go outside. Stop pissing in bottles. Like, this shit is getting out of hand, okay? Disrespectfully, weirdos. Complete weirdos, all right? So the second thing that just blows my mind, how does stupid sexy outfits hurt a game story? Have y'all ever looked at a protagonist costume and say, you know what, this is really hurting the game story, I don't like this outfit? No, because y'all aren't weirdos, okay? Y'all are not dumb. This gives me like stalker, incel, weirdo vibes, man. I'm so grateful for this game, it exposed all the weirdos. I know who not to respect and all this shit. It's just getting out of hand. But they say, despite the forced sex appeal, I actually loved her detailed design. Forced sex appeal. It must be tough to be a female, I ain't gonna lie, because if Eve was flat as a fucking iron board, they would not say nothing about sex appeal or stupid, sexy outfits. They would not say that. If she was built like Abby, they would not say that. The fact of the matter is, if you are a woman, any type of feature, top, bottom, or both, men are going to sexualize the fuck out of you. That is just a plain fact. There is nothing sexual as hell. I don't feel like this is for sex appeal whatsoever. This is just regular shit. You see this shit every day, okay? I don't know about y'all. In California, I see this shit all the time. On the West Coast, I see this shit all the time, okay? I don't get it. Do y'all live in like Arkansas or some shit? I don't understand, okay? I don't. That's just weird. And the dude under it says literally normal fucking clothes in the thumbnail. Just fucking weird. Game Radar, y'all are a bunch of weirdos. Disrespectfully, don't care. But as you see here, there's a lot of 90s. There's a 93. 85, 80, Metacritic has an 83, OpenCritic has an 84. Again, new IP. This is incredible. This is huge. All right. So another quick thing I wanted to touch on, man. Apparently now this game is getting called racist by some people because there's a graffiti tag of hard and it's next to a shop that's called the R shop. So hard R. I found that fucking hilarious. I'm not even gonna lie. That's so goddamn funny in my opinion. Korea's language and everything is so different, and from what I heard from other people that I talked to when it came to this game, there's a lot of hard graffiti tags all over the game. So it's just ironic that it was next to an R shop. Sony is gonna pack shit up or whatever, but I just found that funny as hell. I do not take offense by that. I'm not gonna get offended by it. Their language is completely different. Now if I seen the N-I-G-G, you know what I mean, I'd have been like, all right, look, I was trying to give y'all money, but you know what? Fuck y'all. But no, it's not that. So let's go to Metacritic. I want to read some of the many reviews that they have. Right now it was an 82. I don't think on there it was an 83, so it dropped 1 point. Nothing major, but this group, I don't want to box their name, but they said Stellar Blade is one of the best action-oriented experience on the PS5 and manages to meet pretty high expectation in most of its aspects. However, even if Stellar Blade is able to stand on its own 2 feet, more often than not, it tends to remind you of other video games. So I'm guessing that is the critique. In the end, there's a few little things that prevent Stellar Blade from becoming a memorable experience. So the critique of it feeling like other games. I mean, I'm not gonna tell somebody else how to critique games, you know what I'm saying? But there's about 1 billion games out at this point in time. There are games that are absolute blueprints for other games, like this game. Nier Automata was the blueprint for Stellar Blade. Director came out and said it himself. The game is mainly influenced by Nier Automata. That is where the main influence came from. So I'm not gonna dock this game for being influenced by other games. It's kind of hard to come up with original mechanics and stuff like that nowadays. So I'm, not a big deal. This critic says, but why though? Stellar Blade is a fantastic addition to the PlayStation exclusive library. The combat is slick and fun. The story is deep and interesting. Now, I have seen a lot of people say the story is deep and interesting. The lore is great, but then I see other people saying the story is kind of lackluster. I said this in my last Stellar Blade video. This game was going to do the same thing that Nier Automata did when it came to the story. A lot of people that just want to hate on Eve for being this quote-unquote eye candy, and they're mad that their wives don't look like that, or the girlfriends don't look like that, or the women themselves don't look like that. There was going to be forced hate directed at the body of Eve, and instead they were going to not pay attention to the story like they should be. And then on top of that, you have these reviewers which get the copies early, and it's basically crunch time. They got to get the reviews done in time for the embargo lift so they can get their opinions out there. So they might not do the side quests, they might not do meaningful shit or the way the game was intended to be played just to get the review out. So that's why you always should take reviews with a grain of salt when it comes to story games. If it's multiplayer games, that's a whole different story, but story games, heavy lore games, you got to take with a grain of salt from reviewers sometimes. Stellar Blade has far surpassed our expectations, offers varied gameplay, outstanding visuals, and a sublime soundtrack, and an engaging story. It's a must-play for action game fans. Another group that says the story is engaging, okay? Just keep that in mind. Though its narrative pacing and world building may falter slightly, Stellar Blade as a whole is an action-packed marvel and a wonderful addition to the PlayStation exclusive. So now I want to look at some of the lower ratings and why they rated the game low. New Game Network says Stellar Blade is a mostly enjoyable action game with solid combat, strong presentation, and good enemy design. F says, I often found myself lost for hours in the world of Stellar Blade, but I was also pining for what the game could have been. The world building is excellent, but the dialogue is not up to the same standard. The story's illusion of choice funnels you down to the same path. There is a lot of promise here, but it fails to convert into excellence. The Sixth Axis says, Stellar Blade is pretty enjoyable game to swing your hairband sword at. So long as you don't mind the obvious sexualization, this shit is getting tiring. There's a few rough areas, but nothing to spoil things overall, and there's plenty of interesting story to uncover as you fight your way through giant monsters with circular saws for head and weird tentacles for legs. So basically this game is getting a 70 because the sexualization. And again, I don't think the game is sexualized, okay? When a game is putting in realistic features such as physics, yes, when a woman jumps and she has, you know what I'm saying, it's just you horny bastards have to control yourself. I did not look at those fixes and say, oh man, let me get the Jergens lotion or anything. I did not say any of that bullshit. So in their eyes, it brought the game down to a 70 because of the quote-unquote sexualization, and there's a few rough spots, so that warrants a 70 rating. Hey man, y'all see it. I ain't got to say too much. Oh, matter of fact, IGN's right here. Okay. It is great in all of the most important ways for an action game, but the dull characters and lackluster story and several frustrating elements of RPG mechanics prevent it from soaring. IGN has absolutely been decimated, and the reason why IGN is getting decimated because people are missing the point of why people are not fucking with IGN's review is because there have been several articles before the launch that they were hating on Eve just because she looked the way she did. And that, I know it's redundant, I'm saying this a lot during the video, but y'all know it's true. I have to keep saying it. IGN was going out their way to try to fucking bury the character, okay? So when they come out and say, hey man, this game is a 7, people are like, man, fuck you, we don't care what you got to say. And I see some people trying to defend IGN or whatever, say, hey man, 7's not bad. It's not even the whole ordeal of it being 7 out of 10 for them. Nobody cares about what IGN has to say. It's just, at this point to people, it's just fun to pick on IGN because they're not the most competent group of gaming journalists. It's not the 7, okay? IGN gives so many games 7, then they'll give Call of Duty a 9. Nobody, IGN will sit there and say Stellar Blade is a phenomenal game, the gameplay is perfect, etc, 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 but you know, Eve has a giant rack, and you know, my wife at home doesn't have that, so this game is a 6 out of 10. They will do something like that. They will praise a game all the way up to a moon and just give one critique and then give it a 6 out of 10. That's just IGN, okay? So I don't really feel bad that people are getting on them, but people have to realize IGN is not respectable to the public eye. Defending them is not gonna get you anything. But they said the characters lack any kind of personality, charm, or charisma. And hearing that, again, I think of Nier Automata. As iconic as a character 2B is, and you know, you still have A2 and 9S who are great characters, those characters don't really have personality, if you think about it, because the game of Nier Automata is trauma. It's nothing but dark. There's no happiness. So they lack personality. Maybe this is the same thing with Stellar Blade. I'm seeing a lot of these companies, I'm seeing a lot of these groups reviewing this game saying the story's lore is deep and the story is great and intriguing. So when I see something like IGN, which are very lazy journalists, say something like this, I'm not going to take them serious. Stellar Blade doesn't come off a game where these characters need charisma because it's a dark and gritty ass story. So, you know, they go on to say that the side quest isn't worth the trip or whatever, but I want to just read the final verdict of this. Stellar Blade stands out as a gorgeous, well-crafted action game with very impressive strengths and very clear weaknesses. Both its story and characters lack substance, which I go back to the Nier Automata thing. Some of its RPG elements are poorly implemented, like dull side quests that very often require you to retrace your steps through previous levels, with very little done to make the return trip feel unique or rewarding. But its action picks up most of the slack thanks to the rock-solid fundamentals of its Sekiro-inspired combat system. A deep well of hideous monstrosities to sharpen your sword against, and plenty of hidden goodies that do a great job of incentivizing exploration throughout. So the main thing I get from IGN, they just did not like the story. They said the story lacks substance in the characters. Just summarizing IGN, they're saying the action is what makes the game. It's the most important part, the clear standout of everything. The story and characters lack substance. And again, this does not come off as a game that's going to have a happy ending or a happy story throughout. In the beginning of the demo, you see an important character and side characters just getting murked off instantly, just like Nier Automata. So this game is not going to be, oh man, I'm Eve, my body banging, and I'm here to slay shit. No, like you're not gonna see shit like that, bro. Like what I expected to hear from this game is exactly what I'm hearing. Action is fire as hell. There's a clear split on the story, because one half of people are saying the story is intriguing and the lore is great and there's a lot to uncover in the game, and then you have people saying on the other side that the story is lackluster and the characters are lackluster, which I all predicted in my last video. So again, none of this has surprised me. The people critiquing the game for being quote unquote too sexual because she has a bikini outfit that is fucking weird, I predicted all of this shit. So again, none of this surprises me, but I'm just glad majority is enjoying this game and gave this game its praise. And this is a huge thing for both Shift Up and PlayStation. The future IPs that both of them are going to create are going to be magical. And even if they want to continue the Stellar Blade series, Sony is 1000% behind Shift Up, so we can expect more greatness from them. This was a W all in all. You can try to hate on this game if you want to. Sony has absolutely hit the jackpot with this game. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I definitely will have my input once I play through the game. I have my first impressions. I'll do a video on that, and then I'll have my final verdict, because this game will absolutely have my attention more than any other game. I'm putting every other game on the back burner. I'm not playing nothing else but Stellar Blade. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about the Stellar Blade critiques and reviews. What do y'all feel the game is going to be like? What's y'all expectations? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll thank all of y'all for the support. I appreciate it greatly. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.